Hey, what's up guys, Mitch here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at my desk tour for early 2018. First up is an Aki desk lamp. Now this is touch sensitive, so you can quickly change the brightness of it, but you can also hold it down and go RGB. It'll cycle through the colors pretty quickly, but if you want to stay on a specific color, just tap and it'll stay on that color as long as you want. Right next to that is a smartphone gimbal that I use, the Smooth Q. Now I picked this up on B&H on sale, and it was only about $100, which is a great deal. DJI just released their Osmo 2, which actually comes down a lot in price, but this is very similar and has a lot of the same functionality. I keep it out so it's easy to get a quick shot if I need it. Now right next to that is a drawer that I keep little SD cards in, just to have them quick and easy to go, but when I'm away from here, I actually put them in a Pelican case just to keep them nice and protected. Now moving on to the actual setup that I'm using. Starting off with this monitor. This is a new monitor that I actually just picked up, and it's a Dell 27-inch 1440p monitor, and I've been using it with my MacBook Pro 2016. Now previous to this, I was just using the Macbook Screen, and this is a huge upgrade. It comes pre-calibrated from the factory, and the colors on it look great, very similar to my MacBook Pro, and the extra screen real estate when editing and doing anything really is awesome. I also love the slim bezels around the side, and also the functionality that it has. Dell definitely has one of the best stands for their monitors, easily able to pivot, tilt, and rotate. Around the back, there's also a couple USB ports that I use. One of those is the Tesla desktop supercharger. Now this is just a nice short cable that I can use to plug my phone into my computer if I ever need to. And it just plugs into the back of the monitor, so I don't have to run an additional cable to my MacBook. I also really like the look of it. Tesla's one of my favorite companies, and I think their superchargers are really cool looking. Now right next to that is a salt lamp. I'm sure if you've seen any of my other videos before, you've seen that. I really like the look that it gives off. It gives a nice warm light, and I like to use it in the background when I'm shooting. Now cable management isn't the greatest, but for all the cables I'm running, I think it looks pretty nice. Now behind the monitor, I'm using a desk grommet. This used to just be an open hole, but I picked up an aluminum desk grommet just because I think it cleans up the look a lot. Now first up on the left side are the Bose QC35s. Now I've switched pretty much completely to wireless headphones, just because I love the convenience of it. I've been using these along with the AirPods and the Jaybird X3s. The noise cancellation on these is fantastic, and I love using them when traveling, but even at home they're great to use. I've never had any issues with the QC35s, and while they might not be audiophile grade, I still love using them for editing. Next up is the Apple Magic Keyboard. Previously I was using the Logitech G710 Plus, and the reason I switched was basically just because it was too big. I don't have a lot of room on this desk, so having something like this is perfect. While some people don't like the Magic Keyboard, I'm used to typing on my MacBook Pro, so switching to something like this was perfect. Next to that is the Logitech Mx Master, which I'm sure you've heard of. I absolutely love the Mx Master. The horizontal scroll wheel is great, and the buttons on the side are easily customizable for use in editing. While I did have some connection issues right when it came out, that seems to all have been fixed by now, and I love using it. It's also come down a lot in price, so if you want to pick one up for yourself, I'll leave that link down below. Now as you notice, there's a lot of cables coming down under the desk over here. So moving down to the underside of the desk, you can see where some of those go. One of those is the power and dimmer for the salt lamp up top, and the rest of them go into here. Now I have a power supply here for the RGB strip behind the monitor, and that cable just runs down into here, which is where I have a power strip. Also down here is this USB extender cable that runs to this USB Type-C hub. This adds back some USB Type-A ports, a USB-C port, as well as an SD card reader. I have it mounted down here so it's basically hidden under the desk when you're looking at it from the top, but it's still easily accessible when I need to plug anything in. Now while the cables might look messy down below, you can't really see many of them when you're looking at the desk from the top. Now that one last white cable you see is just an extension cord that I use to run out to my softbox. And that's what I use to light these videos. I could have done a better job with the cable management, but a lot of this stuff switches out frequently, so I think this is a good compromise. And now finally onto the right side of the desk. This is where I have the computer that's powering everything that you saw before. As you can see, all 4 USB Type-C ports on the new MacBook Pro are full. On the left side in the back, there's a USB-C to DisplayPort cable, and that's what I'm using to run the monitor so I can run at 1440p 60Hz. I went with a shorter cable, because I wanted to keep the cable clutter down, and I knew I didn't have a long way to run. Now the other cable is a full-size USB-A to B cable. I didn't have a USB-C to USB-B cable, so I just used a little adapter that takes USB-C to USB Type-A. It definitely makes the cable a little bulkier, but I think it's fine for the moment. On the other side in the back, there's a USB-C cable that's running to the SSD that I'm using. Now this is just an SSD enclosure from Oyen Digital, but I have a 1TB SSD in here, and the reason I have it plugged directly into the MacBook Pro is because it takes advantage of USB 3.1, so I can get faster speeds. Now this enclosure can actually hold 2 drives, but I'm only using one in there right now, but if I wanted to in the future, I could add another 1TB drive and run it in RAID 0 for even better performance. Now the other cable is just the Macbook Charger, which isn't cable managed as well as I would like, but I like to have it there so I can easily move it around if I need to. Right in front of that is an Apple notebook that you can get at the Apple Store in Cupertino. They sell normal Apple products, but they also sell other stuff like t-shirts, notebooks, and pens. The shelves above the desk that you saw are basically used for storage. This is camera gear over here, but there's also a Google Home back there that I use for listening to music. On the other side, there's an iPad Pro box, a couple phones, and then some more camera gear. But that's pretty much it. I like to keep the desk area pretty clean, and leave everything else on shelves so it's out of the way when I'm actually doing something at my desk. That's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to see more from me. I will catch you in the next one.